We're going to spend a little time filling out our blue notes, kiddos, so please make sure you have those in front of you. I've written it in multiple places already, so you should, and everybody received this sheet while you were still at school. I do this because it's a lot easier than having to write everything down on your own in your notebook, or to even figure out what to write down. So sometimes you'll still be writing things on your own in your notebook, but a lot of times I'm going to try to get you these guided notes so you're just filling in things. So please make sure you're filling in along with me as I go. The top section that you see here on the screen is probably just review, because you've already should have gone through the Ed puzzle, which was a really good introduction to what integers are. So I'm going to fill this out very quickly. Make sure that you are getting yours filled out as well. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need to catch up. So at the top, an integer, you should already know, is any positive or negative. What kind of number? Well, hopefully you know that by now that it's got to be a whole number, meaning no fractions, no decimals. And we also include 0 as an integer. So negative whole numbers, positive whole numbers, and 0, those are what we mean when we say the word integer. Negative integers are integers less than 0. You know that. Positive integers are greater than 0. 0 itself does not have a sign. It is neither positive nor negative. It is just 0. And you can see my number line here. You already know that the positive integers are on the right and the negative integers are on the left of 0. So looking at my examples, figure out to yourself, think to yourself, why are all of these considered integers? So 0 we know, 3, it's a whole number, it's positive. Negative 100, it's a whole number, but it's negative. 432, a whole number. But why is 10 over 2 an integer? We said no fractions. Well, what does 10 over 2 really mean or turn into? That's 10 divided by 2, and we should know by now that that's really 5. So 10 over 2 represents the positive number 5. So, of course, it is an integer. And then 6 over 3 is also a whole number. If we do that division, that really means 2, but it's got that negative out in front, so that's really negative 2. That's why those are both considered integers. And then the long guy at the end, 987,654,321. I know there's a lot of digits there, but that does not have anything to do with being an integer or not. It just means that it's a whole number, no decimals, no fractions, and it's positive, so it is an integer. The ones at the bottom are not integers, and why is that? Because we either have decimals, like 7.2 or negative 3 7/10, or we have fractions. 10 over 4 is not a whole number if we were to divide it. If we were to divide it, we'd actually get a mixed number involving a fraction. And then negative 5/8 is a fraction itself. So those are not integers. Now to the bottom of your notes, we're going to talk about some ways that we use integers in real life. So there are lots of things that we talk about or situations that we represent in our daily lives, especially when you're hearing things on the news or going to different stores, places of business, that we represent what's going on using an integer. So that means that there's some vocabulary you have to make yourself familiar with. And the vocabulary is going to help us decide whether we're using a positive integer. So some of it's going to represent positive integers, some of it's going to represent negative integers. And sometimes it's going to be 0, whatever the situation is. So the 4 situations at the top, we're going to write an integer to represent. So the first one says a gain of 5 yards on the first down. Well, that is referring to football. And if we have a gain of 5 yards, do you think that's a positive or a negative? And hopefully you were thinking that is a positive 5. When you gain 5 yards on the football field, you are adding 5 yards. So positive 5. Underneath that, so I'm actually going to underline that word gain, so we understand that that is the word that tells us whether we had a positive or a negative. The next one underneath says a temperature of 10 degrees below zero. So I'm going to underline below zero. And we know by now if it's below zero on a thermometer, that's down underneath zero, which goes into the negatives. And so we would represent that with -10. And then 6 feet below sea level. Sea level is where our air touches our water. So it's the surface of the water around the world. And sea level is usually represented with 0 because that's kind of like our starting point. If I were to draw a little diagram, there's my water surface and it's 0. I can go above sea level and get into the positives, and I can go below sea level and I can get into the negatives. So if we're 6 feet below sea level, then we represent that with a -6, a negative integer. And then the last one here, a $35 withdrawal. And if you've heard that word before, I'm wondering if you are associating it to an account, a bank account. When you withdraw, you take money out of your account. So that would be subtracting $35 from your account. So a withdrawal means a negative integer. We take it out. So I want you to try to represent the next section here, the A through M. See if you can use an integer to represent what's going on here. Pause the video and give it a try yourself. There might be some words that you're not familiar with, and that's okay. You can skip over them. When you've got them when you've tried them all out, then restart the video and check your work with my answers. So letter A, lost 6 points, would be -6. Letter B, 3 strokes below par. If you are not familiar, par is used in golf, and par is the number of strokes that you should take in order to get your golf ball into the hole. So if a particular hole is a 5, a par of 5, and we are below par, that's great because that means we got our ball in the hole in less than we were expected to. So below par, 3 strokes below, is -3, and that's actually a good thing. If you take more than par or go above par, then that means you're taking more shots or more swings of your golf club than you should to get your ball in the hole. So below par is good, but it is represented with a -3. A deposit, that's the opposite of withdrawal. So a deposit means we're putting money in to an account, a bank account, and that would be a +5. A loss of $30, -30. This word descend, if you're not familiar with that word, now is the time to take note because you are going to need to be able to use these vocabulary words and understand them when we use them in class. So descend means to go down. When we descend in a plane, we are landing, we're going down. So if we descend 20 meters, that means that we use the -20 integer to represent that. 12 centimeters longer means we grew by 12, so that's a +12. 5,000 feet above sea level would be a positive, because remember my picture up here at the top, 0 is sea level, above sea level are our positive integers, so above sea level is +5,000. 7 inches below normal, below means -7 or -7. $5 off the original price, -5. Here's the opposite of descend, ascend. And ascend, instead of going down, means you're going up. So I'm going to draw an arrow going up. And in a plane, if we were ascending, that means we would be climbing. We would be going into the air, ascending, going up 100 meters. So that would be a +100. 10 strokes above par. So above means we're going +10, which is not good. And then a 6-yard loss. If a football team loses 6 yards, it's a -6 to represent that. The last couple questions at the bottom of your notes are going to involve the picture that I have over here on the side. So we actually have sea level, which is right here. It's where the water, and I know that's hard to tell that that's water, but that's water, meets the air. And you can see we have a submarine down here below sea level and an airplane in the air above sea level. And what integer are we using for sea level? Well, we're using the integer 0. So that 1200 at the bottom should really be negative 1200 because that submarine is below sea level at a negative 1200. And then the airplane is 5,000 feet above sea level, so 5,000 feet in the air. The question for G is interesting, so we have to be careful and make sure we're really thinking about this. It says, how far away is the plane from the submarine? So if I started at the plane and I go down towards the submarine, I'm first hitting sea level or 0. How far is that from the plane to sea level? Well, it was 5,000 feet above sea level. So from the plane to sea level is a distance of 5,000 feet. So I'm going to just make a note that from here to here is 5,000 feet. But we're not quite at the submarine. We're only at the surface of the water, and we have to get down to the submarine, which if I go from the surface of the water to the submarine, that's 1,200 feet. So I'm going to make a note on there that that's 1,200 feet from the surface of the water to the submarine. So if I want to take the whole trip from the plane all the way down to the submarine, I'm going to go 5,000 feet plus an additional 1,200 feet to get to the submarine. So together, that 5,000 plus the 1,200 is really 6,200. So the plane is 6,200 feet away from the submarine. Last but not least, letter H has nothing to do with the picture. We just need to be able to use our vocabulary words a little. So if we're in an airplane and it does ascend 100 meters, that means we're going up 100. But then it goes down by 20 meters. It descends 20. So if we were up at 100 and we go down 20, where would we end up? Well, we would end up at 80 meters. Make sure you have these notes filled out. I will expect to see them when you come back to me in class.